Good morning. Okay, that is how we start a morning. Awesome. Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome to our beloveds on Zoom. Welcome everyone here. I'm the Reverend Christine Dance, and I am so proud to be your minister at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix. Welcome back home into our sanctuary. For those of you who are here in person, welcome, welcome to our beloveds online. I can see you all here as well. Welcome to our flower communion. You might notice we left our water drops on the window from our virtual water communion in the fall. And we decided we were going to leave those up until you could see them here when we were back together, and how appropriate that it is that it would be our flower communion. For those of you who are joining us for the first time or second time, a very, very special welcome to you. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, and knowing that issues of justice and equity shape everything we do. And speaking of radical inclusion, some of you may have noticed that we had a guest here today, this morning, who wanted our inclusion to be of his own brand of hateful Christianity. We have escorted him off of the premises, and we think possibly he might be the same person who left love letters on our signs a couple weeks ago. So my feeling is if it is that clear of what we stand for and who we are, then we are doing the right thing. For those of you who are in Zoom, please feel free to interact with the chat. We would love for you to say hello, who's in your household, if there's pets, folks with you, just greet us in the chat. That would be lovely. If you all brought flowers and haven't had the chance to put them up here in the front, we'll have a time for that at the beginning of Together Time. I want to let you know that if you do not wish to be on camera, the back 2 rows are reserved for you. Those will not be on camera. Besides that, our folks on Zoom have asked for us to do periodic sweeps of the room so that they can see you and know you are here. If you are here in the room, please remember to stay masked, and please do not log into Zoom from the room. It will create all kinds of feedback. So let us come into a worshipful time this morning. We begin with the opening words that were used in the very first flower communion over 80 years ago, written by Alice Berry. Children of the earth and sky, we are nurtured, sustained, given warmth and light from above and below. Supported by earth's strong, firm crust, we build our homes, till the fields, plant our gardens and orchards. When we turn from self and seek to be aware, we will find holy light in human faces, in blossom, in birdsong, and sky. Then earth is truly our home, and we are one with all of earth's creatures, parents of earth's children yet to be. In addition to all the beautiful flowers here up front, we also have flower decorations, decor, floral arrangements. They're so beautiful and foreign, I don't even know what to call them. I really want to thank Georgia Hammond and Blake Rushing for these flowers this morning, and we invite them to come up and light our chalice as we recite our covenant. You can repeat after me each line. Love is the doctrine of this congregation.
Love is the doctrine of this congregation.
The quest for truth is our sacrament.
The quest for truth is our sacrament.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek knowledge and freedom.
To seek knowledge and freedom.
To share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant.
Thus do we covenant.
Thank you. Thank you, Georgia. Folks here on this space, I want us to remember that while it is so good to be here and be together again, that there are lots of beloveds on the screen. And as you are willing and able, I would love for you to turn around and wave to them in the camera. There's 2 cameras right there. Give some love. For those of you who are on Zoom, if you want to turn on your camera and wave to everyone there. There's Danny, there's Jared too. Wonderful waves to everyone. A big greeting to us all. And now I welcome our worship associate, Bill Snowden.
Hello. This is so cool. My name's Bill Snowden, and I'm honored to serve as the worship associate today. And good morning. Everything going on at UUCP can be found at our website, phoenixuu.org, or our weekly newsletter, Compass. Next week, our amazing coming-of-age youth will lead an online coffee hour. They would like to interview our UU congregation to learn more about your journeys. As a result of redistricting, the state legislative districts have changed. It's important to know this before you vote in the August 2022 primary. Find out about your AZ legislative district in Compass newsletter or under civic engagement on UUCP's website. And this week is your last chance to sign up for offering something for our auction that will be held on April 9th. You can offer an event at your home, a craft that you've made, a service. You could offer almost anything. And please remember to join us online or in person on the 9th. Finally, after the service today, please join us for a baby shower for Carly and Alex Burke, new members of our community, out on the patio after service. Their families are not supportive of them, and so we get to be their family today. You don't need to have a present. You don't even need to know them. Let's celebrate this miracle they're bringing into the world. For our offering today, we ask our online participants to donate via text, website, or email. For those in person, we're doing our offering slightly differently. Now we ask you to please give your donation in the boxes on your way in or out of service. We ask you be generous in your giving to support the mission of our community. You can text UUCP to 73256. You can donate through the website, or you can send a check. For all that you give our congregation, we are so grateful. And now, a moment for our final week of our stewardship campaign.
Good morning. I'm Carol Ackerson. I'm a member of your Board of Trustees and the treasurer of UUCP. And I'm really glad to be here in person this morning. It really feels nice. And as Bill mentioned, this is our closing session for our online stewardship campaign for next year. A couple of weeks ago, Reverend Christine reminded us, all of us need all of us to make it. And we repeated it several times. All of us need all of us to make it. And right now, we need all of us to make it to reach our pledge goal of $630,000 for next year's budget. And we're not there yet. At this point, there's a couple things that are happening. First, the staff, and then with the Finance Committee and the board, we are working to finalize next year's budget. And if we continue to be this far from our pledge goal, we're going to have to make some very difficult decisions as we plan for next year. Much less try to add the things that we've been talking about that'll help us grow, such as a part-time membership staff, as well as the technical support we need to maintain our online presence. Second, volunteers are already starting the process of calling everyone who hasn't pledged yet to check on their continued involvement with the congregation and to determine who remains committed to preserving our loving community. We have found that it has been difficult for some members to remain connected to us. And now that we have this in-person option, we want to make sure that we reconnect with those that have found it difficult during these last 2 years. If you haven't turned in your pledge yet, you can help the volunteers that are making these calls by submitting it today, and that means your pledge will require one less phone call, and we'll certainly all appreciate that. If you are planning to give and having difficulty, please call us. Please call the office, and we will help you fill out the form online, or we'll send you a paper copy to fill it out. but please let us know how we can help. For those of you that have already filled out your pledge form, we are grateful for your continued support and commitment to our UUCP family. And I want to especially thank those people that have filled out their form or think they've filled out their form and are receiving calls at this particular point. For one of the things that we've discovered in the process, that if you went online and developed a giving plan and you set that up, but didn't fill out the pledge form, we on the board don't know that you've made that commitment. So in order to make the commitment, you need to sort of fill out the pledge form. And for those of you that are able to make a giving plan, we appreciate that because that's really very helpful for us. So for those of you that haven't filled out your form, please take some time today to do that. And let us know that you value being a part of this congregation, where we are in community with those who also value a spiritual community for our times, theologically diverse, radically inclusive, and justice-centered. This is not just a nonprofit, this is home. We are excited about having the opportunity to be back in person with the ability to continue to connect with those that have found it difficult when we haven't been together. And we're really excited about the new members and participants that have joined us during the pandemic. However, like many congregations, we will be working hard over the next couple years to reconnect with the many who found it hard, and to do the work needed to strengthen our community in this new and interesting environment. So remember, all of us need all of us to make it. Thank you for those of you that have pledged and those that are going to do that today. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. I'm Benji Messer, UUCP's music director. I'm excited to introduce you to our guest artists this morning. Renee Patrick sings jazz and R&B in a way that's both personal and powerful. She is one of the first musicians that I discovered in Phoenix that I loved and followed, and I would go to her gigs and sit there and, is this a song I could sit in on? Is this a song I could, find the diviest places where I could jump up on stage with her. So this is going to be sort of like old times. Music runs in her family. Renee's father was a member of the fabulous Ink Spots, who are in the Doo-Wop Hall of Fame, and her mother sang in Motown as well. She puts that life experience to good use. And many of you have heard Nicole Pesci here before. I haven't introduced her formally. Yes, Nicole is astonishing. She is a virtuoso and a real genius at creating solo piano arrangements. And when I moved to Phoenix, everyone told me there's this pianist who plays at my florist who has his residency, and there are lines out the door every weekend. You can request any song, and she knows it. So together, Nicole and Renee make up 2/3 of a group called We Three. I only had the budget for We Two, but if you like what you hear today and you'd like to hear them again, look up We Three Music or We Three Band. They play all over town. Anyway, I'm so glad you were both available. The prelude Nicole played was Kiss from a Rose by the artist Seal, and now they'll continue with Irving Berlin's song Blue Skies.
Wow, what an introduction, huh? Good morning. Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds, they're singing their song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright. I never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by when you're in love. love they fly. Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. I should do it. Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Yeah. Bluebirds, they are singing this song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right, noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, they fly. Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. Nothing but blue skies. Don't give me no gray skies. Give me those blue skies. Blue, 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 blue. Give me those blue skies from now on.
Oh my gosh, how much fun is that? Thank you both, all three of you, so much. So, look, we're here, y'all. Look at this, and this is together time. And I see children. I have not seen children in a really long time. And only as parents or caregivers are comfortable, I would love to invite kids to come up. We've got lots of space to come and gather around if you are willing. And that is children of any age. It can be children of heart. It can be children in spirit. Anyone, come on up, Brooklyn. What do you think? What do you think, Indy? Yeah? Ayla, you want to? Hi, come and sit down here. And if you all want, you're gonna get an extra flower if you come up. How's that? So come up and grab a flower, any flower, because we're gonna look at them. We're gonna look at what flowers are. And we're gonna look at different parts of them. Okay, here now, see, bribery works. And there's plenty of flowers over here, you all. If you don't want a crowd, there's lots of flowers over here too. Let's not take forever, just any flower will do. What did I start? What did I think was going to happen? And if you all want to come and sit down here, or you can stand, or you can fidget. And for those of you who are new, please know that children are always welcome in our space. We love their noises. We love their energy. We do not shush our children at UUCP. Awesome. You want to sit down, Brooke? Let's see, which one do I want? This is just as hard. Okay. So, and if there's other folks who had any flowers and you wanted to put it up here, this is a great time to do that too. So how many of you know a lot about flowers? You know a lot about flowers, a little bit about flowers? What are the different, we're gonna talk about them in metaphors because I love metaphors, right? So what are a few parts of a flower? What's any part of a flower? The petals. The petals are what reach out into the sun to get light and sun from the sky and to receive water. The way, and I'm going to make metaphors about our congregation and our time together. So we are receiving love from each other. We are receiving energy for each other. We are receiving what we need to grow and also to be sustained and be strong. I heard the stem. Who said stem? You said stem. What do you think the stem is? What do you think that could be? Huh? It's what holds it up. It's the stability of it. It's the stability that makes it strong, that gives it support. You could say it's the infrastructure. For our congregation, you just heard us talk about stewardship. Stewardship is one way of providing stability. All of the volunteers who are working today and who have been are our stability. All of, hi, there's a child. Child. You guys, I'm so excited to see you all. Like, I just have missed you so very much. So the stability is really, really important. What's another part of the flower? What's another part of flowers that you see? Yes. What's that? Pistil. The pistil. Yes. Pistil, right? Yes. So do you know what the pistil does? It's right there. It's right in and sometimes you can see it and sometimes you can't. And what does the pistil do?
It makes honey.
It makes pollen. Yes. Yes. And it makes pollen, and then that can be spread around. Hi, do you want a flower?
He does want a flower.
Yeah, I think so.
Can you say hi?
Hi, do you want a flower? So the pollen is like all of our good messages. All of our messages of love and inclusion, and we spread it around like the piston spreads pollen all around. That's really good. What else is part of a flower? You want to come get a flower? Look, I got a flower. I know you want it. Do you want a flower? There you go. Good job. Do you want a flower too? Okay, awesome. So what about the petals? What could the petals be? Do you guys look at all of these petals? Like each one of them is totally different. Like the petals make it pretty, yes. And they're all different and unique, just like all of you. Each one is totally unique and is a new expression of how to be, how it makes it pretty, how it makes it really, really cool and unique, just like each one of you. So what happens when you put all of these flowers together? It makes a bouquet. Yes, that's right. And are bouquets really pretty?
Yeah.
They're so pretty, right? Because of all the petals, but also the stems make that happen, and also the leaves make that happen, and also the stamen and the pistil. I'm learning biology, remembering it as we're going through. All of that needs to make a community of love and a community of support. So today, for our flower communion, we're going to be talking about flowers, but we're really going to be talking about community. And I hope you all continue to just stare at your flowers and look at every piece of it and think about how amazing they are. And as you do, I want you to remember how amazing you are. You are very, very loved. Enjoy flower communion. Enjoy being back. I'm so glad to see you all. You can go back to your seats or stay here.
We have flower sheets.
Right back there. Just thank you very much. We do have flower drawing sheets in the back, and those are for our children of all ages. If anyone wants a flower sheet. Thank you so much, Jez. Back to you, Benji.
Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop inside. I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. Well, I don't buy sugar. You just have to fill my cup. You're my sweetener. It's so sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, the honey fairly drifts. Your confection, goodness knows, you're my honeysuckle rose. Follow this. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop and sigh. I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. Well, I don't buy sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're my splendor. It's so sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, the honey fairly drifts. Your confection, goodness knows, you're my honeysuckle rose. Yeah. My honeysuckle rose.
Woo! Oh my goodness. I'm just going to keep saying it. It's so good to see you all. It is the time when we share the joys and sorrows of our community. Being together, it is good to share, to support each other, and to connect. For those on Zoom, you all get to go first. Please enter any joys or sorrows into the chat, putting your name at the beginning. For those of you in person, there are joys and sorrow cards in the back. We are having it move to things that are truly important about your life that you're willing to share. Let us take a deep breath at home and here as we settle in and create space for the joys and sorrows of our community. I want to acknowledge that Thursday is International Trans Day of Visibility. It is becoming especially clear, as if it wasn't already, the Supreme Court hearings this week made it clear that these social issues are going to be, they are practicing for the election coming up. It will be at the forefront of our political scene now and through the next election and potentially beyond. And unfortunately, our trans siblings are becoming the war ground on which the other side wants to fight. This is not just an election issue. This is not just a political issue. We are talking about real human beings being attacked at their coreness of their identity. On Thursday, please join me as we celebrate all of our trans siblings. We lift up your full humanity, your full divine presence, and we commit to your protection and visibility and inclusion amongst us in all ways. Let us move to the joys and sorrows in our community. Bunny Hodis says, a joy to be with you all, even from Florida. Yay for live streaming, #UUAnywhere. And this is the stole that Bunny and Dale gave me for their wedding, a lotus one. I've gotten lots of comments on it today. Thank you, Bunny. Kat Granat says, a joy for the wonderful 16-year-old our family has gained thanks to adoption. Oh, what wonderful news. John Williamson says, joy, daughter Marianne got a new job in December and is doing very well with it. So glad to hear that. Mira Shaw says, yesterday, hi Mira, I can see you. Yesterday, after paying back her student loans for many years, my daughter Amy had the last $20,000 of her loans, all interest, forgiven. Hooray. That is huge. May it be so for all. From Annette Reichman. This week, my sister's young adult child from Richmond is visiting. They came to celebrate my mother's life, their Grandma Lucy's life. Grandma Lucy passed away a year ago, so it is a celebration on multiple levels. Sending you all love as you're doing that. And then I have two from the in-person group from Audrey Atherton. Audrey, I know I saw you come in. Audrey says, this is about Mom Nancy Beach. I was blessed with a mom who raised me well, raised me UU. She was amazing, and today would be her favorite service. She showed me she was here this morning in spirit, and I am blessed. I loved your mom very much. And from Catherine Cruz. Catherine, if you want to wave. Catherine has a sorrow and a joy for us today. The sorrow is that I have breast cancer. The joy is that I have surgery to remove the cancer on Wednesday. May we all be grateful for the gift of life every day. And I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege, and can we just raise our hands and send some loving energy to Catherine for this journey and for your surgery. May it remove all of the bad. May you know how much you are loved. May your healing be as swift as possible, and may you know we are with you in this. I invite you to a time of meditation and prayer. Center yourselves, put your feet on the ground if you want, just lower your shoulders, take some breaths. I share this prayer from the Reverend Bill Sinkford, who was twice president of the Unitarian Universalist Association and a minister of the UU congregation in Portland, Oregon. Here in the presence of these flowers, these representations of creation's profound beauty, diverse and unique, but related and interdependent, these flowers which come to us as gifts from we know not where, and which we, in turn, choose to bring to our shared and common altar as gifts to one another. In their presence, we turn our thoughts to the mystery beyond mysteries, to the most sacred, which we never understand fully, but which we are granted revelatory glimpses of in each of these flowers, in each of these faces, in each of the screens. And through relationships with neighbors near and far, may they remind us of grace we have known in days past, forgiveness we have been granted and provided, love unearned and shared, recovery begun and established, generosity unforeseen and most sacred. And may all of these flowers inspire us now and in days to come to seek, to notice, to embrace, and to recreate beauty, to give unto the world as exuberantly as these flowers. Let's take a moment and just contemplate. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe. And as a reminder of our connectedness with all of those who are watching online, if you all don't mind just putting up a little heart. And our online folks, these are for you. We love you. We are together.
You are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always stay around you. You are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay right here in my heart. I feel like this is the beginning. Though I've loved you for 1,000,000 years, and if I thought our love was ending, I'd find myself drowning in my own tears. You are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always stay around you. Yeah, you are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay right here in my heart. You must have known that I was lonely because you came to my rescue. I know that this must be heaven. How could so much love be inside of you? Oh, yeah. You are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always stay around you. Yes, you are the apple of my eyes. Forever you'll stay in my heart. Yes, you are the sunshine of my life, my only sunshine. Yeah, you make me happy when skies are gray. You are the sunshine of my life, sunshine of my life, sunshine of my life.
Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about the flower communion because it is a cherished ritual in Unitarian Universalism. This flower communion, I want to tell you the story of how it was created, with a special focus on the man who created it and the times he lived and died in. His name was Norbert Čapek, and he lived in what is now Czechoslovakia. And like now, that part of the world was in a war. It was World War II. Čapek died in Dachau because of his beliefs, and I think it's really important that we see this flower communion today not only as a story in our history, but also as one very relevant to our times and the struggle in our worlds right now. I think Patrick needs another flower. And again, that is totally fine, right? I love it. I want to thank the Unitarian Universalist Association and Reverend Kimberly Dubus for their extensive history of Reverend Dr. Čapek. And I'm not going to give it all to you, but I want to ground this in what is happening in the world. Čapek came from a small village in the southern part of what was then Bohemia. He came from a poor family, and after leaving school, he trained as a tailor. But his great love was religion, religious ideas, and church communities. He was converted to the Baptist Church and eventually trained as a Baptist minister. His ministerial work in Prague was successful, but under the influence of various teachers and writers, including lectures from the great preachers of the social gospel, Walter Rauschenbach, he became more and more convinced that Christianity should have a distinctly social message, that God was to be regarded as a parent of the human family, the human Jesus as an elder sibling, and that our task was to create a new and better society for everyone. As his religious ideas became increasingly liberal, he became active in an international religious organization now called the International Association for Religious Freedom. At their 1910 conference in Berlin, he met active Unitarians, including officers of the American Unitarian Association. Čapek also attended conferences in London and Copenhagen and Boston and Oxford. He left Czechoslovakia for a while, living and working in America as a journalist. There, he became more interested in Unitarian theology and connected to the American Unitarian Association. With the support of the AUA and British Unitarians, he was able to establish a new religious movement in Prague. It flourished with large congregations and an active children's program. Among the members of this congregation in Prague were many ex-Catholics. Anyone ex-Catholics in the house? Who, reacting strongly against the Catholic faith, had come to find the traditional communion service with bread and wine unacceptable. He felt that they needed some sort of communion ceremony, and in 1923, he turned to the native beauty of their countryside for elements of a communion service that could be meaningful to all of them. The flower communion soon became one of their most significant services, and under his inspiring leadership, this new liberal religious movement flourished in Prague and elsewhere in the country. Over the next decade, Čapek was acclaimed as one of the nation's leading orators and wrote more than 90 hymns, 3 of which are in our Unitarian Universalist hymnal now. Things did not remain so calm. In 1938, when it became clear that the Nazis would invade Czechoslovakia, Čapek's friends urged him to leave the country. His wide reputation as a religious liberal, his activities as a hymn writer, a newspaper editor, preacher, teacher, and lecturer put him in a dangerous position. He refused to go, but his wife, Maja, left at the last moment. Čapek continued his work, which became increasingly risky. Čapek found that his church could play a role in protecting Jews in Prague because Unitarianism, as practiced in the earliest 20th century Europe, remained monotheistic. Čapek was able to accept a number of Jews into membership, thus protecting them from being rounded up by the Gestapo. This gave them precious time to plan their escape from the country. In 1940, this merciful plan was discovered, and Čapek and his daughter Zora were arrested. She for the crime of listening to the BBC on the radio, and he for the same offense and for high treason. Several of his sermons were listed as evidence for the later charge. Listening to foreign broadcasts was a capital offense under the Nazi protectorate, something that we're still seeing in Russia now. Eventually, he was sent to Dachau concentration camp, Zora to a labor camp. Almost a year after his arrest, Čapek's name appears among prisoners sent on October 12, 1942, to Hartheim Castle near Linz, Austria, where he died of poison gas. Before his death, Čapek's courage in the face of torture and starvation was a source of inspiration to his fellow prisoners. Some of those who survived testified that the Unitarian leader could not have been sent to a place where he was more needed than Dachau. Fortified by his words and example, they held on, despite the grim agonies of the camp, which was to live in history as a horrible example of Nazi bestiality. When news of Dr. Čapek's death reached America in 1945, the then president of the American Unitarian Association, Dr. Frederick May Elliott, wrote, "Another name is added to the list of heroic Unitarian martyrs, by whose death our freedom has been brought." Today, we are celebrating the ritual that Čapek created to celebrate freedom and connection, to honor this ordinary man who did extraordinary things. Now, there are many reasons this ritual is not just a ceremony or a blessing, but an actual communion. Čapek realized that the form of Christian communion was meaningful and thus borrowed key elements of consecration, partaking, and blessing. What he hoped was that just as Christians hope to commune with God, we would commune with one another. But there are other elements of the Christian sacrament that Čapek probably didn't anticipate being quite so important. In the Christian communion, there are words of remembrance, The Gospels report that Jesus said, "Do this in remembrance of me." And so I am encouraging you to remember Chopik when we do our communion of flowers. But also in the Christian communion, there is an element of sacrifice. According to the Gospel of Luke, Jesus says, "This is my body, which is given for you." For Christians, communion is a time to remember sacrifice of all of those who have given for our faith, and to renounce, and folks who have died for this, rather than renouncing the truth of love and justice as they see it. And so we, too, remember Reverend Dr. Norbert Chopik, and we honor his sacrifice for religious freedom. Chopik could not have imagined we would be doing this ritual across the world, but thanks to his wife, who taught the flower communion first in London and then at First Parish in Cambridge, Massachusetts, we do. But I suspect he could not also have imagined that he would be seen as a martyr for our liberal faith. Yet he was. He stood on the side of freedom and love and justice against a tangible, fierce enemy. His bravery speaks to us 70 years later and reminds us that we cannot sacrifice our freedom to think, to reason, to feel, to explore, to worship as we please. We cannot sacrifice our particular flavor of heresy to go along with the pack, to stay safe. We must never turn our backs on those who need us. We must stand up for religious freedom. We must stand up when people wish to install their brand of religious law in our secular society, much like the example we had this morning. We must not choose safety over liberty, and we must remember how he died so that we do not ever become complacent to the power of war, authoritarianism, and bigotry. This is not a story just of long ago. We know very clearly these things are still happening today in that specific part of the world, again threatening peace in the entire world. Chopik reminds us that putting our faith into action sometimes means standing up for our faith. And he reminds us that we, yes, even we as ordinary people, can do extraordinary things. So let us join together today to connect with each other, to celebrate hope, to remember those who have gone before us, and to honor those who have sacrificed themselves to the cause of religious freedom.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there is just too little love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there is just too little love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Calling an audible. You all are so good. You're following me. Thank you. We have come to the time of our flower communion, and I want to start with our folks on Zoom. I picked a sunflower, which is the flower of Ukraine, and in solidarity with them, I invite you all on Zoom to get a flower, think of flowers, be a flower, as I share this blessing. May you know and embrace just how unique and special you are, like the uniqueness of each and every flower. May you know that you are a critical part of this community, online or here in person, part of the gorgeous bouquet of pretty petals that we are. May we accept this flower as a gift from each other. We do not know where the flowers come from, but it does not matter. They are gifts of the heart. May you deeply know that you are worthy of this gift. Now to folks in this room, it is time for our flower communion in person. I'm going to ask each section come up one at a time so that we don't have a mad rush to the front. Please remember that there are 2 tables. Know that whether you brought a flower or not with you today, there are plenty of flowers to go around. Please take one, come up reverently, acknowledging the ritual that it is, with a sense of importance for how much it is to address our world and one another with gentleness and justice and love. As you take your chosen flower, remember to handle it carefully. It's a gift that someone brought for you. It represents that person's unique humanity and therefore deserves your respect and gentle touch. We'll start with this. Once you all see, I'll give a little motion, we'll move around, and we get to enjoy more of Nicole's wonderful piano playing. Let our flower communion begin. it occurs to me that often water communion is our coming back together, but this year was our flower communion. And just a note, I've been your minister for almost 3 years. This is my first in-person flower communion with you all. What an odd time we've been in, huh? As we conclude the service, I do want to make sure online folks and anyone here, you are welcome to our online coffee hour. It is a separate link in the chat. It will be on website and Compass. And we will be having in-person coffee hour on the patio starting on April 10th. So we're rolling out each thing slowly, deliberately, and we are hoping coffee hour requires, if you drink coffee, to take off masks. So as you are comfortable and willing to be outside for coffee hour, we will do that outside before it gets too warm. And for those here in person, please do remember the baby shower happening. Really, you don't need to know Carly and Alec. You will know them afterwards. They're lovely, and let us celebrate this wonderful opportunity. So now may you all remember the commitment of this flower communion. May you remember the commitment we have to liberal religious freedom. May you remember the commitment we are sharing with each other in all the ways, in our presence, in our financial commitment, in our showing up, in our loving and accepting and caring for each other. May we celebrate this commitment to community. Go in peace, go in love. May the love of flowers and peace surround you always. Amen. You're free to go.
I'm walking